Yes.
Bogdanov, il delete.
Il bort.
He went to all in.
Dumpy. No! No!
You heard it here first. Bitcoin is going to zero. When it comes out, zero.
Just hodl, bro.
How many times in the history of crypto has Bitcoin been declared dead? That's a question for you.
Too many.
Too many.
Many times.
That's my response.
Probably
Too damn
more
many.
often than roll salt to bottom.
The calls for Bitcoin being dead is too damn high.
And right now,
Yeah.
it's one of them times everyone thinks Bitcoin's dead right now.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah. We actually we're at all-time high Google searches for Bitcoin dead. Well,
Wow.
literally at all, and it's
Okay.
like the chart's disgusting if you want to look up the Google trend for it. It's like 10x the previous all-time high, just kind of like
Oh my
like
God.
just how we
Is it?
time in one. Yeah. Like the Bitcoin search results at the all-time high were just insane. We went
The thing
parabolic.
is,
and
I
same exact
guarantee
here.
most of these Google Bitcoin is dead searches aren't even people that are in crypto, but people that missed the boat and now want to rub it. Their friends knows, be like, "Yeah, I told you Bitcoin is going to die."
Yeah, right.
I had it yesterday. It's a Ponzi. You've been played. All the big guys have
Yeah.
made the money, and I just say, yeah, okay. I just can't even be asked.
Can't be asked. I mean,
Still-
honestly though,
still
like if you
20K.
really think Bitcoin is dead, same with like all of the other cryptos. Just look at the .com crash. I mean, yeah, only a few went on to survive, but if you can pick those few that did, you get the Googles and the Amazons. And
Far
I
from
mean,
dead, man.
we've had a few people that, a few
Yeah.
very large people.
Bank of
agree on that.
England. Bank of England have come out and said buying crypto now would be like buying Amazon and
Yeah.
what was the other one?
Google. Yeah,
Some-
Amazon or
some-
Google.
Yeah.
Back in the
Pretty
2000s.
pretty crazy
I mean-
statement by them, honestly.
Considering
That's a
they were
huge-
saying 6 months ago that it's a fucking scam.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Well, the UK is so
now
bullshit.
it's cheap
Someone
though, and so
must have loaded their bags.
Someone loaded the bags, yeah. They loaded up cheap.
Panda's got it. Panda's got it. They loaded their bags.
I know.
Yeah. So
Unbelievable.
I mean, we've had a few reverse flip sentiments from both governments and
Yeah.
investment funds. Ironically, though, because so many of them blew up, which I find amusing yet unfortunate.
But, yeah. Go on.
So in similar news in related to liquidations, so this protocol Sollend on Sol, they had this whale that was playing with like $118 million or something like that in leverage, kind of just being an absolute degenerate, not giving a shit. His liquidation price was like $22.30. All of it was going to get liquidated at that price,
Okay.
and just cause a disgusting collapse at that point if it did happen, and it would probably destroy the price of Sol completely, just because that would cause a massive viral contagion of liquidations. So in a really rather interesting decision, the team proposed, hey, what if we just take over this wallet and force them to
Yeah.
do OTC trades so that they can't get liquidated? And
Oh my
so they
God.
did.
Oh,
Gotta
Yeah,
love
they
a nice
proposed a vote.
decentralized safe blockchain.
Oh, I know. They proposed a vote through their DAO. And so amusingly, the only reason it passed is because one person voted with all of their tokens and accounted for 88% of all the votes, because they
Oh.
counted it by number of Sol tokens. And so a single address voted yes to take it over. And so then in another wild move, the next day, they proposed another proposal to say we're going to invalidate the previous proposal. And the dude that voted, that was the 88%, wasn't allowed to vote.
Oh
So-
my God.
Yeah, so then after that, then it passed at a 99%. So then the decision was overwritten, and now they can't take control of it. They actually did get contact with this whale, and he's going to do a bunch of OTC stuff, but it still doesn't take away the fact that they took control of his, accounts. And then did a second vote to disallow the first vote,
Then
even
disallow
though
the
they'd
second
already.
vote.
It
Yeah,
just
it's
sounds
like,
like a
what's
bunch of fucking kids playing around. Imagine
Yeah.
that's a
ridiculous.
$100 million business, and it just sounds like kids playing.
So much money just being tossed around as if it's nothing, and it's amusing because a lot of people got really mad, right? They were like, "Oh, how dare you, take over this guy's wallet? That's awful. That's completely against the decentralization, ethos of crypto. You use Solana.
What I want to know is
You
he
don't get to
selling?
argue.
Is he selling at a loss at OTC or selling for what he bought for?
I mean, he's probably not selling at a loss, but he's not getting liquidated.
Why? Why do they care if he gets liquidated?
Because if he gets liquidated, it causes a liquidation cascade and ruins like the Sol ecosystem. Like,
Right,
imagine
yeah.
if $110 million got liquidated at once
Yeah.
on a single market maker, it would crash the price, ridiculously, and cause all of the other liquidations to cascade.
And
too.
all that money's gone then out of the ecosystem as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because all those people got liquidated, and so
And
and that's
sentiment would be beyond raked.
yeah, sentiment would be beyond destroyed. And so they thought, in a very rash moment of decision making, that they could just take it over. And in my opinion, that's like the dumbest thing of all time. I mean, if it explodes, it explodes. You should advocate not to use that much leverage. Is really what it comes down
That's
to.
the risk.
But yeah, they really went for the hard totalitarian approach where they literally took control of this guy's shiz, which is kind of wild. And yeah, I don't really know how to react to this because it's so weird to me that a protocol could just take over somebody's address and just prevent them from getting liquidated.
Even though they reverse the vote, sort of, it, as long as there's the chance that your funds just get frozen, it's bullshit, man. There's no decentralization. It goes against everything what crypto stands for. Basically, a bank.
There's nothing that actually makes me feel good or gives me any positive vibes about Sol.
Absolutely,
it's just like I just don't. Everything I hear about Solana, it's going down.
It's always
taking over
negative news.
It's always negative.
There's never positive news.
I'm
always
just like,
negative.
stay away from Solana. Do not go near it. Who is investing in Solana? There's lots of hype behind it. The NFT side of it's got lots of hype.
Yeah, because
fanatical.
Like the big wallets, some of the very big wallets in crypto, they are also invested in Solana, and they're heavily pushing all the Solana narrative.
Yeah. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of hype and there was money to be made, but I take tech into account. And I know that's weird because people are like, oh, I'm only here to make money. Well, I'm here to make money, but I don't want to lose it all either. So, it's a line that you just got to figure out where to draw for yourself.
Yeah.
But unfortunately, yeah, not going to use Solend ever after that debacle. Wow. Some rather interesting news there. Literally a first I've ever seen that. In much better news, the Ethereum Sepolia testnet is on its own way to its own merge. Sepolia is a testnet on Ethereum that will actually eventually replace Ropsten. So if you know what Ropsten is, it's the primary testnet for Ethereum. Sepolia is going to take it over essentially here in the next few months as the primary testing period for all of the stuff that will launch on Ethereum. And so the fact that they will have their beacon chain merge here soon, because they just launched their beacon chain this last week, they will have their merge here in the next couple weeks, and it will be the last testnet before actually doing the merge, which is pretty cool. They had to delay the difficulty bomb by 100 days, which is sad days, but it will mean that we might get a winter bomb, like into November and December. But supposedly, Tim Dyko, like the head of ETH says this is going to be the last postponement because Sepolia is the last testnet to do all the merge simulations. And so, yes, it is postponed one last time, but I'll take it as a chance to get more ETH.
That's a huge chance, man, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the finish line is literally in sight. Like, for a long time, it was, oh, the merge is coming, and it just kept getting delayed without any real, like, this is a step-by-step where we're going to be at the merge. And we can now at least see that step-by-step process and the finish line itself. And so to me, I'm not going to curb the fact that it just gets delayed one last time.
I know it has to be
to
right,
make-
doesn't it? Has to be right.
Well, I mean, the biggest event in crypto since the launch of either Bitcoin or ETH,
Yeah,
and so
agree.
it's compared to doing an engine change on an airplane mid-flight. Like you got to make sure everything is running perfectly while everyone's still using all of their stuff.
Yeah.
And so it's a massive undertaking. You want to make sure you do it right.
Huge.
You really don't want to fuck it up.
One
And so
mistake
I'm
and
okay
everything
with
could be
them.
fucked.
What I don't get is though we were saying months ago that they're probably going to delay it, and I said, well, why don't they account for any delays? And they've done it again. They were saying August, now it's September, now it could be end of September, October. I'm like, fuck me, honest to God.
They give
It was
themselves.
July actually. Start off with July, then August, then September. Oh my God. Go on.
So the reason they do that is because then they give themselves hard dates to shoot for. It forces them to work faster.
Oh, right, okay.
You can hard fork, but you have to physically vote and choose to hard fork to delay the difficulty bomb. And so they're really like actively trying to beat the difficulty bomb because they don't want to have to delay it, but it actually takes the decision to do so. And so as long as they put a reasonable expectation of when they think they could do it by, then at least it gives a hard limit. Because I mean, at this point, I don't think you need to do any longer than 100 days after Sepolia. Then it's just the final configurations for the actual mainnet, and then it'll undergo the actual merge once the difficulty bomb hits. So, yeah, I'm expecting probably that it's August anymore. It'll probably be October.
Cool.
So next on the news, pretty huge news actually from Visa. Latin America will now have access to credit cards that are fitted for crypto. They're going to include primary cryptos like Bitcoin, ETH, as well as stablecoins. And so basically you're going to be able to use your card to pay for things in Latin America, and you can actually interact with smart contracts on chain with this credit card, which is
That's cool.
kind of brilliant. I mean, yeah, I know they're a bank, but the fact that they're blockchain tech for what they're doing is really, really good, because a lot of currencies in Latin America are inflating, kind of out the ass. And so having stables is like USDC is a way better option for them at the moment than
Shit.
their own currency. And so being able to have a credit card that has access to stables is huge for them. And so I think this is a massive move by Visa. And I think long term, it's frankly quite brilliant for adoption, because I think that this will actually get people to see like why this is so useful. Like having this massive ledger that you can use to like all work together and have the same money system.
Yeah,
not the same money,
100%.
like a money system that we can all equally have access to.
I know, and it's fairer. Gives back more to the people. There's less control from centralized entities. It's a bit more decentralized, isn't it? Obviously.
Yeah, because there's no other way for like if you live somewhere in Latin America, it's hard to get USD unless yeah, I mean you can, but it's not as easy as getting your local currency.
And you probably have terrible rates on exchange and stuff.
Yeah, I mean that's just how markets work, and that's how just economies work. It's harder to get
accessibility in general. If you can just swap it, it's easier than everything else.
Yeah, because regardless of where you live, a lot of people still have phones. I mean, pretty much regardless of where you live, which makes it a lot. And so this is actually pretty cool news in my opinion. And I think that it'll actually cause a huge adoption wave. And we've already started seeing that in Latin America and other Asian countries as well, which is really cool. I love to see it personally. So moving on the flip side of unfortunate news, 3AC has turned out not to be a $4 billion venture capital fund, but rather a whole bunch of long calls thrown together that turned out to blow up. So over the last few weeks, due to exposure to both Luna and Celsius, double oof, and a few other issues, they basically blew up. They lost a whole bunch of money, got liquidated across the board at like $1,700. They had to not across the board. They had even more at the 893 level, but they've been pretty badly hit. I mean, like really badly hit.
Yeah.
And so the biggest issue with this though is not only did they get hit, other people invested in them, right? And so when they get hit, the people that invested in them also get hit. And that includes people like Voyager, who threw 800 million at them. And after
How much?
that got
800 million?
800 mil.
Fuck
Yeah,
hell.
it's really a lot. They threw a lot of money and they took a beating for it, honestly. I mean, they released this news just 3 days ago, and the price of Voyager dropped 50% in a day.
Yeah, you got like BlockFi also lent them a lot of money.
Yeah, BlockFi is another huge one. There's been a few Excel sheets released recently on Twitter, kind of all over, showing different all the different contagion because of this Celsius and Luna collapse back to back that caused so many funds to just collapse because they all lended each other money is the problem. So all of these debts were built on top of each other.
Cross Ponzi system.
Sounds pretty familiar, right? Maybe we shouldn't do that. Hey, quit using leverage, you jackasses. As multi-$100 million firms and multi-billion-dollar firms, quit throwing that much leverage. Like, are you dumb?
Like you said, it's debt on top of debt. There's no like structure. There's no real structure. There's no weight.
You borrow money.
It's just
through
all
leverage trade.
It's just all fake. It's just all. There's nothing permanent
What
there.
blows me away, and kind of on a side topic here, what blows me away is that they made these longs, right? If they'd cashed out last year in like April to like June, even like 50%, they would have been way the hell up, and they would have never gotten liquidated ever. They could have ridden free for the rest of their lives.
I can't believe they didn't take any profit. It just shows you, doesn't it? Even people in these positions, millionaires with all this knowledge, they're no better than the average investor, are they?
Absolute FOMOing degenerates.
Which is kind of wild to me. But it just it's a good lesson for all of us, I think, that just because they have a lot of money doesn't mean they're necessarily smarter than you are. So take that in mind going forward. So in actually probably the coolest news of the week and kind of a surprise leak, GTA 6 will be coming out in 2024, not 2025. And it will also include cryptocurrency features in game.
2 years.
Yeah, so they haven't really released a lot of details on this. I don't know if it's going to be only an in-game thing or if it's actually going to be its own token, like it's going to launch on a pin and stuff. And so I don't really know a whole lot in regards to the technical side, but it's still cool news because if you look at the population of people that use GTA, it's the second most downloaded game of all time, only behind Minecraft. It's got 165 million copies since 2013. The closest is Tetris at 100 mil. And so, I mean, this is huge. Like, if you imagine it releases a game with cryptocurrency features, and it was exposed to hundreds of millions of people.
I'm thinking at the very least they're going to have a token that's in the crypto sphere in some way or another. Maybe it won't be in the game, but at least they're going to have a token. But
the way I read it is like you'll actually be able to earn the token in. I don't know whether or not you'd be able to sell it on a market. I would assume. I mean, there wouldn't be any other
point. But it's most likely going to be a closed market, so it's sort of an in-game market similar to FIFA points, because otherwise they would have to go through worldwide regulations, and since they're selling the game all over the world, they would have to apply to every single country and stuff.
You'd have people exploiting it and all kinds, and
that's just too much hassle for them.
GTA 6, like I'm listing on all the decks. All the centralized, all like
imagine all the fake tokens.
Yeah, no, I mean, could they? Yeah, I don't know what the space is going to look like exactly in 2 years, but I don't know. I find it interesting. I think it's really cool that they're actually like kind of diving into the area because this is
still some exposures and some awareness around the world. So
still massive.
Legit game franchise that's like actually diving in, and so I think that's pretty cool. Personally,
How can't you? Especially GTA, like that sort of vibe, that kind of environment has to have cryptocurrency. I mean, I know you might be exposing it for the wrong reasons to an extent, but still, exposure's exposure.
In GTA 5 and the story missions, they've mentioned Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies a couple of times, but only mentioned them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, but that was already, I'm not sure when it came out. I think it was 2016, 17, something like that.
So
really?
that hasn't been a GTA since 2016.
Oh, wait, it's even older. I
Oh,
think it's
longer than that.
2014 or 15.
Wow. So there's been
Like, you know how
no-
in GTA 5 you can race against other people and do missions with people? Like, imagine
2013.
you bet Bitcoin on race.
And
So there's been no Grand Theft Auto since 2013.
No, they've
yeah,
just expanded the
last
map
one,
and
the
missions
last
and
one. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 was in 2013. It's been a while.
Nearly 10 years. Nearly 10 years.
So there
Yeah.
is a fat guy called Lester. He's sort of a nerd, and he gives you all kinds of missions. And he was mentioning cryptocurrencies and Bitcoin a couple of times. I
Right.
remember that.
Oh,
You
shit.
know, Grand Theft Auto came out when I was in the first year of high school, 1996. The first one.
Wow.
The first one came out in 1996.
I've never played the first one. Second one was the first one I played personally.
I had it. Yeah, I had it.
Yeah, I was 7.
Crazy.
What year?
Seven.
What year did it come out in your high
Nin-
school?
1996 or 7. Let's have a look.
I was like 4 or 5 years old then.
I was
Keegan
gonna
was
say, I
deep in
even
the
alive.
ballsack.
Yeah.
Not even yet. I was still in non-existence.
1997. Sorry. Yeah. So the first year of my high school was 1997.
Wow, I was 5.
So it was 1997. Yeah. Crazy.
I was still
crazy.
crying. I was still crying like a little bitch.
So I was 12 then. Yeah. So I was 12 then. Right. Should we move on?
I'm
Wow, that's
wild.
cool.
But I mean, look how far we've come. That's wild. And you know, I did not expect. It was unexpected. I saw it this morning actually, and decided to throw it in because
Yeah.
prize lead.
It's cool. It's cool.
Yeah. So we'll have to see what happens. A few years out, but if some predictions are correct, it'll be perfect timing.
Yeah.
So we'll see. In our last piece of news for the week, XCAD is officially releasing their plugin on June 29th. And so this will probably release tomorrow, right? June 27th. So 2 days after this, when you watch it.
Yeah, right.
So if you either A, watch YouTube, B, want to make money while you watch YouTube, well, here you go. It's releasing this Wednesday. All you have to do is download the plugin on the Google Chrome store and watch your favorite YouTube, content creators. Wow, I really fucked that up. But just watch your favorite YouTube content creators, and you can literally earn some money, which is kind of brilliant.
Is it any videos, or is it specific ones that they list?
I think at the moment have to it's ones for that they actually onboard.
Yeah. They have to sign up.
And,
they have to sign up to XCAD on the platform.
Yeah, I think so. And I think they're going to expand it in the future towards all, but they're still working on that. So, but still really huge news because this is the first of its kind and pretty badass in my opinion. Literally unique, which going from 0 to 1, which I love.
Yeah.
So that kind of rounds up the news for the week. We have the CCC still going on, the Crypto Community Championships, and we have now entered the quarterfinals. Congrats to all the teams that have made it. And we're going to keep that running here for the next few weeks. And we're going to get the top 3 spots here probably in the middle of July.
Yeah. It's
So
gone very well. It's gone very well, hasn't it? You've done a good job there, actually, Panda, with that. A lot of even though the market's been quiet, there's been a big turnout, hasn't it? Especially from like Coty and Compete.
Yeah, I mean it's also as planned that it's also some fun for the communities itself, like to rally the community around it and enjoy, give some bullish vibes in this shitty market.
100%. Yeah, the vibes. Love that.
Good. Yeah, I love to see it. And so we'll keep everybody updated there, and we'll be back next week for another, wild week in the crypto universe.
Good stuff. Nice one, guys. See you next week.
Yeah, Mom.
All right. See you next
See
week,
ya.
guys.
Cheers, guys.